Okay, so welcome everyone. This is going to be our first podcast from the Nazli Tech School, and I am joined with Miss Noa for Modesta. She is our content developer and strategist. This is Roots and Ram, and so welcome to our podcast. The first thing I'd like to do, of course, is to give the floor to our content developer and strategist to tell you a little bit about herself and what she does for us, because this topic is actually going to be very intriguing. So, Modesta, would you like to begin? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Nazli Tech School?
All right, thank you very much. Currently, I am the AI content creator and strategist at Nazli Tech School. So basically, what I do is creating educational content for Nazli Tech School. At the same time, I'm also involved in marketing our school to see that it reaches wider audience and those who need it. So that is basically what I do for Nazli Tech School. It's been a great journey so far.
Great. So, Modesta, your profile always stood out to us from the very beginning. You came from a background where you're in health. You've studied health, public health. You've worked in that sort of background. You own your own school for animation called Modesta Animation Studios. And, from that sort of background where your trajectory is different, it's a non-tech, and you're now this content developer at Nazli Tech School. How did it come to be? Was it an easy path that you took, especially since that you studied and completed your university at Nigeria? Would you mind talking a little bit about your experience?
Okay, I love this question though. Well, actually, I didn't start off as a tech person or someone into AI. No, no, no. Just like you mentioned, I'm a microbiologist who loves research. And while I was in the university, I was someone that I always spent time researching microorganisms, finding out different niches and different organisms and their names. So one day I came across one of my friends introduced me to I don't use AI to work. I believe I can use my brain. So when my colleague showed me that I could actually use ChatGPT to, do research and make it faster, I was I was intrigued. So I had to try it out. First one was very easy. I was like, wow, if there's an AI that can actually help me to make things faster, it's little stress. Why don't I explore more? So it made me go deeper into trying out some other things. And I'm someone that loves stories, someone that loves content creation, but I was fully into microbiology. So from there I moved on to using AI to do generate scripts, content, and I love what I was seeing. So I moved on to getting them animated, like bringing them to life. So that was what brought up my MD at AI Animation Studio. That is where I had to start teaching other persons how to create content using AI. While I have my origin from microbiology, and currently I'm glad with the journey so far, because AI is not something that it's really hard. It's something that requires your curiosity and conviction. If you're not curious enough, you may not be able to use AI. You have to be very curious. And you need to be someone that wants to learn. If you don't, people say that AI is for lazy person, but actually, it's not for lazy person. If you're lazy, you may not be able to really explore AI. So it's actually for people that are hardworking. That's how I put it. So that is. Thank you.
That's a very brilliant. No, that's a great answer. I was always curious to know this and how you came to be. And I've been noticing, and I think it's not just me. There are a lot. If you look at Nigeria, there are a lot of people that are interested in content development, and a lot of creative content developers coming out of Nigeria, doing a lot of tutorials on YouTube. What would you say the market is, and how does it look like for the Nigerian youth who is probably same thing, maybe in a situation where they might be studying something else other than, tech, maybe in lab science or something like that. And now they are trying to go into tech. And we all know how the job is saturated with computer science. People are sort of not secure about maybe they should go for that or not. Now, in Nigeria, content development is really taking its shape, and a lot of, as I said, creative content developers. What do you think is the opinion of the youth at large in Nigeria? And this reflects to Africa as a whole, but coming from Nigeria is a very prominent and important nation in Africa as well. So, what would be that perspective of youth in Nigeria in terms of content development? And what do you think are some of the loopholes in this department?
Well, actually, I would say that currently Nigerian youths we are ahead. We are leapfrogging, like we are jumping an entire stage right now because the world is going digital. And for content creators, I've actually had some experiences with people that are into content creation, and they find it difficult to, get their content and all of that because they feel like the kind of content they see online, people like some technology tools that they make use of to do the content, they feel like since we are not computer scientists, we can't be able to do this and all of that. So sometimes I reach out to some of them and let them see that you don't really need to be a computer scientist. As a Nigerian, you don't really need to be a computer scientist. Like others that you're seeing moving on, they are those that actually yielded into the system. They decided to grow along with what is the trend. So I currently, not just people that are using AI, there are other challenges that we experience right here in Nigeria. Something like light power outages, because currently the power in Nigeria, when it comes to electricity, is not so stable. It's not so stable. And when someone wants to fully venture into tech, it's not going to be an easy job. So we find our way to, maneuver our way out of this. For myself and my students, what I normally do, you find a power station, find your own electricity supply. It is what helps. So if you're able to get your own electricity, even if you don't have the money, you can actually find where you can be using to work until your journey pays you. So back to the content creation for Nigerians, I would say that the ability to yield into the trend, learn and observe how AI is shaping content creation has helped so many of our Nigerians. And I'm so proud to see that some of my students, they are doing well for themselves because just like I have taught them, they're able to use, calm down and observe things because there are so many niches in content creation in Nigeria, to be precise. There are so many niches. So they observe and see where they can fit in. And not just where they can fit in, where they can also explore AI to make their content creation journey easier. So that is it currently in Nigeria.
That's actually a very good point that you bring about the electricity source and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, that's definitely an issue, not only in Nigeria, but in different parts of Africa. There are parts where we have experiences of power outage. Now, I'm concerned about, would you say content creation is a job that the Nigerian youth and the African youth and even beyond can seek financial stability with? They can be able to start off, like you mentioned, be competent enough. Would you say what kind of tools? Because we get students that are always using mobile phones to create content. And, what would you recommend? Should they use their mobile phones? Would you recommend starting off with that and switching back to a computer device? As a talented content developer and a founder yourself, and as well as working with Nazli Tech School as our lead content developer and strategist, what is some of your advice for someone who's going to start into content creation? You mentioned looking for your power source. How would they be able to do that? And what are the promises that content creation has in the near future, you'd say, to this youth, both in Nigeria and beyond?
Okay, I love this question so much because it's something that is very personal to me because I have experienced it even before I started personally. I never knew that there was money in content creation. Yes, I didn't know that it could pay my bills. Because while I was in university, I was someone that was just doing my personal research. I was just all about knowledge. I didn't know that I could earn from it. So fast forward to now, when I already taught some persons, some of them tell me that, oh, MD, we don't have, I don't have a laptop. I don't have sophisticated gadgets to create my content. And I tell them, you don't need a big laptop to start. Yes, your Android phone is an empire on its own. It can build whatever you want it to build. So starting from your Android phone, I teach them how to use it to make content in a very premium way because I don't like pour outfit. Still with the phone, they can do a lot that when someone looks at it, the person may not even know that, oh, this was actually done using with a phone. So, and some people say, do I need to have an iPhone or expensive phones? I tell them, once your phone is an Android phone, it can browse or search the internet. You are good to go. So basically, conquering the power issue. For those of them who are just starting, getting a power station is very expensive over here in Nigeria. So what I normally tell them is, at least a power bank is enough. So a power bank for students, they can be able to afford a power bank. So when you get a power bank, you have your mobile phone, you are good to go. Just know that you should have. I tell them the first requirement you will have as someone that wants to earn money from content creation is patience. If you don't have patience, you might not succeed in AI because you might get so that is it. Get this basic. Can you still hear me?
Yes, yes. Actually, you broke off a little, but I can hear you. I got what you said in the last part. You said it very well. I think, Modesta, you really embodied the right answer is patience with content creation. We create content here and there, and if you're not patient, you can't really go for it, and you learn, you be patient, willing to learn and improve as we have these new AI tools coming out. From your experience, Modesta, as a content creator, for many years now, I think getting into many years, and the work you do for our school, what would you say are some tips and technique that you would like to advise someone who's aspiring to be a content creator to know? And then I'll give you an example, like using the right AI tool. What would you suggest from your experience? What would be the best one? Maybe one if someone is into creating content for food, culinary, learning how to cook, or someone who's doing it for fashion. So there's different aspects of content creation. What would you say would be the right approach and the right tools to use?
All right. So I would say that currently there are so many AI tools that can actually generate content, but from my experience, I think Gemini is one of the best. Yes, using Gemini tools because let me talk about Grok. In Nigeria, like so many Nigerians use it to make content. I don't really. My main issue with Grok is that it's so robotic. It's not natural. So natural. If you want to do a good content, whether it's for your food or whatever you want to do, Gemini is there to help you. Google it. All the Gemini AI tools can actually give you a pre. I would suggest that they try to make use of Gemini. Though there are other tools, every day we learn. We try to explore new AI tools coming up with better, but currently it's Gemini. So with further research, you can find a model.
Yes, I definitely agree with you on that, Modesta. And by the way, Google is not sponsoring us, although we would love Google to sponsor Badi Studios and Nazli Tech. But yes, from our experience, I would definitely agree that Gemini is a very smart tool for content creation. Like Modesta said, it gives you that natural experience. If you want that natural feel to your content, it's the right tool to use as of now. And I think it's even getting smarter. So that's excellent. So Modesta, another thing I wanted to ask you was, obviously, what do you find is the hardest part about making AI education human? Because you're dealing in creating content in education, and that's not an easy domain. So you're trying to make the content understandable and accessible at the same time, visually pleasing. So what do you think is the hardest part of making AI education hard in 2026 and will be the hardest part coming in the coming years?
So what I was it's quite interesting though. Lots of challenges, creating AI content. This AI content is without real persons. It's more like you're working with AI. Like AI, you are the director, the producer, the everything. So you are the person driving the AI to do what you want it to do. But most times I have observed for the glitches when it comes to responding to commands. When it comes to responding to commands, sometimes it can it can go crazy and give you a very funny output. But your ability to navigate, your ability to drive it, I normally tell my students that whatever AI will give you, it's based on what you tell it. Even if it doesn't understand the grammar or the prompts, it is your duty as the AI animator, you are the navigator, to still navigate your prompts, rewrite the grammar, make sure you keep the prompting. So these it can be tedious though sometimes, but when someone have patience, the person can stand it. So my current challenge is the inability of AI to respond to my prompts sometimes. And I think the one I would actually say is another problem is this: the time is kind of short. Using Gemini does not really do, it's just 8 seconds. So most times you have to, constrain your script to 8 seconds just to shoot it. So sometimes I wish, oh, how I wish Gemini can do like 1 minute, 1 hour, just without my. So all those things are quite some challenges which I encounter because it can be time consuming merging clips together. But I still enjoy the process because I love what I'm seeing. So that's it.
Definitely clearly shows that you do love what you do, and it shows even in the resources that you create for us and also the ones that you teach your students. And for those watching our podcast, Miss Noah from Modesta is also an AI animator and content developer instructor. So I would really recommend her services. She teaches for us, and she's a great tutor, and you learn a lot. And going back to what you were saying, yes, Gemini, as of now, I would say for certain type of users, we have a maximum limit of 8 seconds. But from what I've learned, there are options to be able to extend. But obviously, we will, as a company, and if you're willing to go that mile to pay and make an agreement with the company, like Google or whatnot in their marketing team, you can be able to get AI tools that extend more. Hopefully, we get to do that soon. And Miss Modesta also on her side for her company, Nigeria, gets to do that. So again, just a reminder, she's the founder of Madi Studios. And if you're in Nigeria, you can definitely check her out, learn a lot. And she also works for Nazli Tech School as our lead content developer and strategist. And the reason we decided to do this podcast is because she's coming from a completely different trajectory in her educational background, and she's now become an expert in content development and strategy. And this is content development and strategy is a very hot skill right now. A lot of companies are looking for talented content developers. So we want to take her expertise and kind of bring it from someone in reality to give you that knowledge and skills and advice that you need. So Modesta, just to wrap this up, because obviously we're going to have a short podcast. This is going to be the first of many. And we would like everyone who's watching this podcast to give us your feedback and how you found it, what you think you would like to know more about. Perhaps we can do a part 2 with Miss Modesta, or if you have any other suggestions. In 2029, Modesta, do you see AI replacing content creators? Or do you even see AI replacing as people? And this myth that we all have, where AI is going to replace people, where there's going to be a very lack of jobs. And I would also like to touch a little bit about the job aspect. But do you see AI replacing content creators in 2029? Oh, I think you're muted, Modesta. Yes, now it's good. Yes, definitely.
Okay. Well, this question is something that I have had some people say AI will take over the world. Not just content creators, they'll say, oh, there's no job for anyone. Since we have AI can do everything. But I don't really I don't think AI has the capacity to replace humans, yes. Because like I always say, your ability to drive AI to do your bidding is what makes you stand out. Yes, it's what makes you stand out. So it is actually going to replace those, and it is those that do not use AI that actually will be sidelined in 2029, because it is the world is for those that knows how to navigate their path using AI. I normally see some Nigerian youths, some of them they watch AI content, like they enjoy watching what AI can do, but they are not doing anything. They are just there folding their hands and watching. I'll be like, why don't you go in and find out how to use this tool yourself, explore it, and see that you yourself can use it, not just enjoying what you're seeing, because it will kick you off very soon. because the world will only be for those that knows how to navigate AI. So I wouldn't say that AI will, no, it is not going to replace, but it will replace those that don't know how to use AI. So if you are not smart with AI usage, you are in trouble. So I think it's high time Nigerian youths actually moving fully to discover more about AI, learn it, learn how to use it, because they are saving their future doing that. So I think that's all I have to say in this regard.
That's an excellent response. And one more thing before we wrap up, Modesta, back into Nigeria, the educational system. I myself, I'm part Nigerian now. I recently always been saying that. And the reason I'm saying is because I grew up in Kaduna, in a Nigerian educational system, which has given me a very strong foundation. Would you say there are enough people like yourself who can be able to teach content creation? Because we know that not just in Nigeria, in general, everywhere around the world, the problem is the skill gap, where students are not learning the skills, the practical skills. They're learning more of the theory, but not really doing practical. You can see somebody learning programming, but is writing how to code on a paper, not using a computer device. So in Nigeria, would you say there are enough talented content developers out there that are instructors to be able to teach people who are interested in it? Or would you say that there's also the problem where they don't know how to show the passion of, to give these students these fire and passion to love creating content just like yourself, and hence create very, awesome, out of the box kind of content? What would you say is the main sort of bridging gap in Nigeria in terms of content creation and maybe even tech in general? Oh, you're muted again.
Okay, sorry about that. So currently, there are not so many content creators. Yeah, okay, let me use the word. There are so many content creators in Nigeria. Yes, I'll call them manual content creators, those who don't make use of AI to do their content. Why there are still some that don't even make content at all. They are just there watching the world go digital. Why some few of them have actually learned how to, explore AI tools in making their content. So currently we are not so many in Nigeria. That is why myself I've taken it upon myself to bridge that gap, to see that people get to learn and see what is trending and join the moving train. That's what I will call it. AI for me is a moving train right now. Join it. You don't have to be left behind. So currently, my duty right now, seeing myself as a bridge, trying to, let people see what they can do with this, give them more awareness on what to do with AI to, make their journey easier so that they wouldn't be kicked out as the world is evolving. So currently, there are not so many of them. And also, I will say that, Nigeria, we are more like some of us are still like some schools in Nigeria, they are yet to understand the importance of AI. Some like while I was in school, before I started using AI, there are some universities that they'll be like, no, don't make use of AI in my research. They feel like it's making the student lazy. They shouldn't, they have to use their head, read, man, all those things. But they are not seeing it from the angle that it could make the student research faster and better. They're not saying it like that. So I think that's another lapse from our own end. That is why, as many of us are evolving, including myself, it is our duty to take it upon ourselves to see that we enlighten this person, to see that AI is not, we are not at war with AI. Humans are not at war with AI. But actually, we have to partner with AI. See it as our creative partner. We are the driver. So it will make our journey, both in learning and whatsoever we are doing, very easy for us. So for the Nigerian students, there is need for them to embrace, and not just embracing the teachers too. The teachers in Nigeria, there is need for them to see that AI is an important tool, technology is an important tool to make the student understand way better than using the manual way. So that is what we are still battling with. And me, I am all out to see that this has been great.
Great. When you said we're not at war with AI, I think that's a very good line for maybe your next content that you're going to be creating and posting on your Facebook channel. Because I've seen when you said the chickens were in a war with humans during that specific event. If you guys don't know, please check out Miss Modesta Nwalfer's Facebook. She's got a lot of followers and very interesting content that I think you would definitely like to follow the journey of the classless and classy dog in her channel. So just going back to what she was saying about AI, true, true, true. It's an assistive tool, and I think that's another discussion probably we'll be having in another podcast. So again, if you guys watching this podcast would like to see Miss Modesta and myself explore more into AI, just let us know in the comments, and we'll plan one, because I feel like that's another whole topic, again, talking about how AI is an assistive tool. It is not a tool where you depend on or replaces your creativity in any way. And I think a lot of parents have this deception as well, and a lot of people. So just to wrap it up, Miss Modesta, do you have anything you would like to advise youth who are interested in going into the content creation field in Nigeria, in Africa, and beyond, because there are many of them, and it is something that's coming up? And what would you say is the importance in creating content when it comes to storytelling, and how to be able to convey your tradition, your culture, to relate to an audience that is completely oblivious and does not know anything about you?
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Well, I will start with my counsel for Nigerians and young Africans who have their mobile phones and are making use of it daily. I think statistics have shown that I think network, is in Nigeria, and I heard that Nigeria MTN actually recovered over, I think, how much trillions of naira in one day, just because they pulled off borrow, like the option for borrowing money. So they recovered a whole lot of money. And that shows that so many persons are dependent on this network. Some are using it for data, large population with data, while some is for airtime. So for Nigerian youth who have the ability to spend their data, sit down, watch, surf their phones. If you move out in the street, you see people using their phones. Like, it's not like they're trying to make money. They are just trying to enjoy themselves, watch videos, nothing. So me, I would say that instead of watching videos and making people to earn money, while you yourself you are burning your data, why don't you go ahead to learn the usage of AI to create similar content? I tell my students that you don't need to have a film house to shoot. Me, I'm an actress too. You don't need to have a film house to shoot. AI has made it easy that you can even shoot a movie that is worth billions of naira inside your room with your laptop or with your phone. You can do that. So I would say that they should spend their time learning how to make content with their phones. Soft tools, look for platforms where, like, Nazli Tech School is the best place for you to learn content creation if you really want to be taught from the scratch. So come here and let's show you how you can actually build your own world, make your own living for yourself as a young Nigerian or as a young African. Make living for yourself. Don't just waste your data. Don't burn it when you are watching. Because if you already, once you have an access to a mobile phone, you really don't know. This mobile phone is, for me, is like, it's a gold. It's a gold. It's a gold mine. Because if you don't know that this is a gold mine, you will not be able to use it. Some person can get very expensive phones. Why the only thing they use it to do is just to watch videos online and just be lazing around. So it is time for people to spend their time learning every day. I normally tell my students, if you don't learn something new in a day, you are abusing yourself, because every day should come with a new knowledge. So if you're not learning daily, I really wonder what your tomorrow will look like. So I don't know if I answered your question, or do I need to make more
No,
reference?
you answered it perfectly. You did a perfect job. I totally agree with you, and I feel that when you have resources, make use of them. And that's, I think, a very core important aspect of education, to make use of what you have and don't complain. We have this saying where we say the carpenter is always complaining of their tools because, they can't do it, so they complain. I definitely agree with you, and I see a lot of youth. You see a lot of youth in Nazli Tech School, how they come in to learn content creation. Yeah, but if we want to project and we want to see how many of these youth become like you, become successful in content creation, it's the continuity, it's the consistency, it's the determination, and it's also the improvement. Because some people, even when they improve, like in terms of financial, they don't improve themselves with the tools like you mentioned. Now you have more money, you can be able to set up a station and even help others. So I think you summed it up very well. And I think we're going to wrap up this podcast. And again, guys, this is just a test podcast from Nazli Tech School between myself, Alisia Habibi, and Miss Noafor Modesta. If you would like, again, a similar podcast, just let us know. Please check out Miss Noafor Modesta in her Madi studios if you're in Nigeria. She also has her Facebook and her LinkedIn. And also check out Nazli Tech School. She's with us. We're with you, and we're here to help you and get you better and get you that financial stability that you want starting from somewhere. So it was nice to talk to you, Ms. Modesta. Thank you for taking your time to come here and have this podcast. And if there's nothing else, I wish you a good afternoon.
All right. Thank you so much. I was so happy being here to talk about my journey so far. And it's nice being here. And I hope we'll do this again some other time. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
The molder boulder breeds gold, stories in the silicon, roots run deep beneath the light, voices never fade away. Nazli Tech School. Roots run deep beneath the light, voices never fade away. Nazli Tech School.
Welcome to Nazli Tech School, where we believe the future of education is here, blending heritage with high-tech innovation. Nazli Tech School is more than just an online platform. It's a powerful ecosystem built for your real-world success. We are a dedicated ecosystem, providing a comprehensive support system tailored for your unique journey. Nazli Tech School is the definitive alternative to traditional schooling, offering a modern, success-driven learning experience. Our commitment doesn't end at graduation. We provide comprehensive support that stays with you long after you complete your program. Let's meet the inspiring leadership behind Nazli Tech School. Our CEO is Dr. Naja Habibi, a renowned medical doctor who has dedicated her expertise to serving communities in Africa. Her global perspective guides our mission. So what exactly makes Nazli Tech School stand out? It's our unique approach, rooted in global vision and focused on practical skills. Our Cognoscentia curriculum fuses core subjects like math and science directly with AI and programming, bridging the gap between theory and application. We provide proprietary AI educational apps that transform abstract concepts into tangible, job-ready skills. Unlike transactional schools, we provide a dedicated success staff focused entirely on your future. Our staff actively helps you secure jobs, scholarships, and attain professional standing in the competitive tech world. As a Nazli Tech student, you gain access to a host of exclusive opportunities. This includes access to international competitions and valuable startup mentorship to accelerate your growth. You can also showcase your work and network at our annual Tech Gallery show. Ready to build your future with the definitive alternative in education? Whether you are a student or an institution, join Nazli Tech School to access the cutting-edge skills and support needed for the future of tech.